Most traders believe the fastest way out of a losing streak is more trading. Here's the brutal paradox. The harder you try to recover, the deeper you dig your grave. Professional operators do the exact opposite of what feels natural. They stop, step back, and reset systematically. This creates the fundamental identity fork that determines your trading survival. Gamblers chase losses with bigger positions and more frequency, while operators embrace the streak as statistical reality and valuable market tuition. Picture this scenario that plays out thousands of times daily. You're down $1,200 this week. Your usual position size feels inadequate. That voice whispers, "Double up on the next trade." This setup works. Just one winner gets you back to break even. That voice belongs to a gambler wearing trader's clothes. The alternative response? Same loss, same frustration burning in your chest. But instead of reaching for larger size, you close your platform. You walk away. You implement a systematic reset protocol that treats emotional hijacking like a medical emergency requiring immediate intervention. Which trader survives long term? 90% choose the gambler's path, increasing risk when they should decrease it, trading more when they should trade less, chasing when they should pause. Your brain screams for immediate relief because losing streaks trigger primal survival instincts. But in trading, that very survival mechanism becomes your executioner. By the end of this series, you'll possess a complete reset protocol that transforms losing streaks from account killers into skill builders. These aren't theoretical concepts from trading books. They're battle-tested systems used by prop desks and behavioral finance firms managing millions in capital. They understand psychological maintenance isn't optional. It's survival. The stakes if you ignore this. Join the 90% who blow accounts not from bad strategies, but from catastrophic responses to inevitable drawdowns. Your technical analysis might be perfect, but if you can't handle consecutive losses, psychological warfare, none of that matters. Here's what nobody tells you. Your losing streak contains the exact blueprint for your comeback, but only if you know how to read it. Every loss carries diagnostic information about where your psychology breaks down. Every emotional hijacking reveals which mental muscles need strengthening. The market holds up a mirror, and most traders smash it instead of studying their reflection. Professional operators protect their edge like casinos. They don't chase losses with bigger bets. They maintain systematic discipline regardless of short-term outcomes. They approach each trade with sniper-like precision, waiting for perfect conditions rather than spraying bullets after a miss. They use honest self-assessment to separate variance losses from violation losses, treating each streak as advanced market education disguised as punishment. Your losing streak isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. But first, you must understand why the mathematical reality of recovery makes trading your way back literally impossible. This brutal arithmetic will shock you and forever change how you approach every future drawdown. Because once you see these numbers, you'll never again mistake frantic activity for intelligent progress. Here's the mathematics that destroys more accounts than any strategy. When you're down 20%, you need a 25% gain to break even. Down 50%? You need 100% returns. This isn't just arithmetic. It's psychological quicksand that traps traders in increasingly desperate position sizing. Let's verify this brutal reality with simple math. Start with $10,000. Lose 20%. You are left with $8,000. To get back to $10,000, you need to make $2,000 on $8,000, which equals 108 L 1 bartero to be 25%, 80, 100, 1 shibandasindamura, nunnery 25% returns. That 20% loss now requires 25% gains just to break even. The asymmetry gets worse as losses deepen. A 50% drawdown leaves you with $5,000. Getting back to $10,000 means doubling your remaining capital. 150. Number 1, Sodahar 100%, 50 to 100, 1 Chopper 1. 100% returns required. Every trader caught in a losing streak faces the same mental trap. The deeper the hole, the bigger the swings they take to climb out. Picture Alex after losing $1,200 this week. His account drops from $10,000 to $8,800. That voice starts calculating. I need $1,200 to get back to even. My usual $50 risk per trade means 24 perfect winners. But if I risk $150 per trade, I only need 8 winners. This logic sounds reasonable until you realize what Alex has done. He's tripled his position size precisely when his confidence should be lowest. He's increased risk when he should decrease it. He's turned a manageable drawdown into potential account annihilation. The mathematical reality creates a psychological death spiral. Larger positions during drawdowns increase volatility in your equity curve, triggering stronger emotional responses, leading to worse decision-making, creating larger losses, demanding even bigger position sizes for recovery. Professional operators understand that recovery isn't about getting even. It's about getting consistent. The casino metaphor applies perfectly here. The house doesn't chase losses with bigger bets when they have an unlucky night. They don't panic and double down on losing hands. They protect their edge with disciplined risk management because they know probability works over sample sizes, not individual outcomes. When variance punches them, they tighten control, not loosen it. Most traders act like the market owes them something. They personalize market action, viewing losses as personal attacks, requiring immediate retaliation through larger position sizes. Here's reality. The market doesn't know your account balance. It doesn't care that you bought at 135 and need it back there to break even. It doesn't remember your stop loss got hit by 2 pips before reversing to target. The market is an impersonal probability generator, and your personal financial situation is completely irrelevant to its movements. This single cognitive error, personalizing market action, destroys more capital than any technical analysis mistake. Traders start believing the market is out to get them during losing streaks. They see stop hunts where random volatility exists. They interpret normal variance as personal attacks requiring immediate revenge trading. The solution requires rewiring how you define success itself. Success isn't getting back to your previous account high. Success is maintaining your systematic edge through inevitable variance. Success is protecting capital when psychology screams for revenge. Success is understanding that consistent small profits compound into large wealth, while inconsistent large swings compound into account obituaries. If the math makes traditional recovery impossible, what specific protocol do professionals use to navigate inevitable drawdowns without destroying their accounts? The answer lies in systematic psychology maintenance that treats losing streaks like medical emergencies requiring immediate intervention. Your losing streak isn't personal failure. It's statistical destiny. Even with a profitable system, streaks are not only possible, but guaranteed over sufficient sample sizes. Here's the proof that will fundamentally shift how you view consecutive losses. With a 60% win rate system, the probability of experiencing extended losing streaks over reasonable sample sizes approaches mathematical certainty. With a 45% win rate and 1 to 1.5 risk-reward ratio, a profitable system generating positive expectancy, you'll statistically encounter 6 to 8 consecutive losses multiple times per year. This isn't system failure. This isn't the market conspiring against you. This is variance reality that every professional operator expects and prepares for. Like restaurant budgets for ingredient costs. Picture Maya, who's been profitable for 6 months, using a breakout strategy with 55% accuracy and 1 to 1.8 risk reward. Then comes the streak, 7 consecutive losses in 4 days. Her operator brain whispers, sample size and variance. She opens her journal and tags each loss methodically. 3 are clean variance, rules followed perfectly, outcomes simply unfavorable. 4 are violations, late entries, widened stops, trading into news during illiquid spreads. The mirror is brutally honest. The strategy isn't broken. Her discipline under pressure needs strengthening. Contrast Maya with Leo, who hits the same 7-loss streak. His ego screams, "The edge is gone." He dumps the system, changes indicators, and doubles position size to get it back faster. Leo transforms a tuition moment into a termination event. The casino wouldn't change game rules after an unlucky night. It protects the house edge and waits for probability to normalize. Professional operators understand that drawdowns are tuition payments for market education, while gamblers interpret them as personal attacks requiring immediate revenge. When professionals hit inevitable losing streaks, they don't question their edge. They audit their execution. They don't abandon their system. They examine their psychology. They don't increase risk. They decrease it until variance passes. The mirror metaphor becomes crucial here. Your losing streak is diagnostic feedback revealing exactly where your psychology breaks down. Each type of loss carries specific information about your mental weak points. Overconfidence appears as position sizes that felt safe until volatility expanded beyond your comfort zone. You risked 2% per trade when your rules specified 1% because you were certain about the setup. The market taught you that certainty is expensive illusion. FOMO reveals itself through marginal entries you knew violated your rules. That breakout looked almost like your A+ setup, but volume was light and context was questionable. You took it anyway because missing potential profits felt worse than breaking rules. The resulting loss wasn't random. It was predictable consequence of rule violation. Revenge trading manifests when you start hunting setups instead of waiting for them. After consecutive losses, you lower standards. B-grade setups suddenly seem acceptable. C-grade patterns feel good enough. You're not trading your system anymore. You're trading your emotions, and the market responds by extracting money with mathematical precision. Each loss carries a message, but most traders are too emotionally hijacked to listen. They're focused on the pain of losing money instead of the value of receiving feedback. They're angry about outcomes instead of curious about causes. The market isn't punishing you, it's teaching you, but lessons only register when you're calm enough to study them. Here's the breakthrough insight that separates professionals from amateurs. Your losing streak contains the exact blueprint for your mental reset and comeback. Every emotional reaction reveals a psychological muscle needing strengthening. Every rule violation shows mental discipline requiring reinforcement. Every revenge trade highlights identity issues demanding attention. The losing streak is your customized curriculum for becoming a better operator. It shows precisely where psychology fails under pressure, which rules you'll abandon when stressed, and which emotions override logic when variance hits. If streaks are inevitable and contain valuable lessons, what's the systematic protocol professionals use to extract maximum learning while protecting their capital and psychology? The answer lies in a structured reset system that treats losing streaks like medical emergencies requiring immediate, methodical intervention. Professional operators follow a mandatory reset protocol after significant losing streaks. The 72-hour circuit breaker. This isn't emotional timeout. It's systematic psychological maintenance. The protocol has 3 phases that mirror how other professionals handle crisis: stop, stabilize, study. The casino metaphor anchors this. When a table shows unusual patterns, casinos shut it down immediately to protect the house edge. They don't debate. They don't negotiate. They flip the switch and protect their bankroll. Your trading account deserves the same ruthless protection. Picture David after hitting 3 consecutive rule violations Thursday afternoon. His usual $50 risk became $75 just this once. His A+ setup criteria relaxed to close enough. His session cap dissolved because he was almost back to even. 3 violations equal mandatory shutdown. No debate, no negotiation, no one more trade. Circuit breaker activated. Complete trading shutdown. No charts, no analysis, no just looking. Close your platform. Delete market apps from your phone. Your brain needs cortisol clearing time, like a strained muscle needs rest. During losing streaks, stress hormones flood your system. Cortisol impairs rational thought for hours after emotional events. Continuing to trade with elevated cortisol is like performing surgery with shaking hands. Technically possible, but statistically catastrophic. Trigger rules activate automatically. Daily loss limit hit, 3 consecutive rule violations, or emotional tilt markers. Physical symptoms don't lie. Racing heart while staring at charts, clicking frantically between timeframes, breaking predetermined plans mid-session. These markers indicate your prefrontal cortex has been hijacked. Logic has left the building. The trader operating your account isn't the same person who created your rules. Physiological reset through sleep optimization, stress reduction, and routine restoration. This phase rebuilds your decision-making capacity, like recharging a depleted battery. Sleep deprivation after stressful trading impairs judgment equivalent to alcohol intoxication. 8 hours minimum sleep becomes non-negotiable. Morning routine without screens for first hour. 30-minute walk in nature if possible. Your nervous system needs downregulation before analytical thinking can resume. David uses this phase to restore biological conditions for sound judgment. Hydrate aggressively. Eat real food at regular times. Move your body to burn stress hormones. Cut screen time to essential tasks only. Tell one accountability partner you're implementing circuit breaker protocol. The operator's mantra here: I'm not falling behind. I'm protecting the house. Forensic analysis using the 2-column method. Tag each loss as variance, following rules, bad outcome, or violation, breaking rules regardless of outcome. This isn't emotional processing, it's clinical diagnosis. David reviews his streak objectively. Trade 1, perfect entry, stopped by news spike, variance. Trade 2, entered early before confirmation, violation. Trade 3, doubled position size after loss, violation. Trade 4, chase breakout after missing entry, violation. The pattern emerges. 1 legitimate loss triggered 3 emotional reactions. The market didn't break his system. Pressure broke his discipline. The sniper metaphor applies here. You don't shoot with shaking hands or clouded judgment. You breathe, assess, and wait for the high probability shot. Convert each violation into if-then rules. If I lose 2 trades in session, then I stop for the day. If spreads widen beyond normal, then I wait 15 minutes. If I feel urgency, then I set 5-minute timer away from screens. Exit criteria focus on process, not profits. 2 consecutive days of perfect rule adherence, not account recovery. This removes pressure to get even and focuses attention on rebuilding systematic execution. You're not trying to make money during circuit breaker. You're rebuilding the psychological foundation that makes money consistently. If triggers reappear, another daily limit hit, 3 fresh violations, obvious tilt, you restart the 72 hours without debate. That's not failure. That's discipline, protecting longevity. Document the protocol on single card. Triggers, phases, rules, exit criteria. Visible switches reduce decision fatigue when emotions surge. The protocol sounds logical, but how do you actually execute each phase when your amygdala is hijacked and every instinct screams to keep trading? Implementation requires specific scripts, environmental controls, and accountability systems that override emotional impulses with systematic responses. Turn the reset protocol into executable actions with specific scripts and environmental controls. This isn't about willpower. It's about engineering your environment so that when emotions hijack your brain, systematic responses fire automatically. Picture Sarah hitting her 3rd rule violation, Friday morning. Position size creep, early entry, then revenge sizing. Her trigger fires without debate. Implementation begins immediately. Execute the physical shutdown sequence like a pilot's emergency checklist. Close your trading platform completely. Not minimized, closed. Remove market apps from your phone or move them to a distant folder. Text your accountability partner immediately. I'm on reset protocol. Back Monday with smaller size. This external commitment creates friction against backsliding. Environmental design becomes crucial. Delete saved hotkeys. Disable one-click trading. Move your laptop to a different room. The casino doesn't let problem gamblers just look at machines. Your protocol demands equal ruthlessness. Engage in non-screen activities requiring physical movement. Cooking, cleaning, reading physical books, walking outside. When your brain rationalizes checking just one chart, environmental barriers make impulse trading impossible. Sarah removes her mouse and keyboard, placing them in a drawer. Simple friction prevents complex mistakes. Deploy the 2-minute reset for mid-session intervention before full triggers fire. Physical position. Feet flat on floor, shoulders back, hands relaxed on desk. Breathing pattern. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Repeat 4 cycles minimum while staring at a point across the room, not your charts. Verbal script spoken aloud. Pause. Protect the house. Wait for my plan. If already in a losing trade, flatten immediately and step away. Recovery begins with stopping damage, not heroic comebacks. Sleep becomes non-negotiable foundation. 8 hours minimum. No screens 1 hour before bed. Your decision-making capacity depends entirely on physiological readiness. Morning routine excludes screens for the first hour. Shower, breakfast, brief walk if possible. Sarah uses this time for journal audit using the mirror method. Review each trade from your losing streak with brutal honesty. 2 columns, variance or violation. Variance means perfect rule adherence with unfavorable outcome, legitimate cost of doing business. Violation means breaking predetermined rules regardless of outcome, controllable error requiring attention. Sarah's audit reveals the pattern. First loss was clean variance. Next 3 were emotional violations triggered by frustration about the unfair stop hunt. Build your weight filter for return to trading. Only A-plus setups meeting every criterion, session cap of maximum 2 trades, position size reduced to 0.25, 0.5 R for next 5 sessions. This isn't punishment. It's systematic confidence rebuilding. You're proving discipline functions under real market conditions before returning to normal sizing. Post these rules where you can see them. Add the preloaded response for FOMO moments. Missing is cheaper than bleeding. Conduct video replay of losing sessions at double speed with emotional annotations. Watch your mouse movements, click patterns, hesitation before entries. Note, physical tension, rapid scrolling between timeframes, impulsive position adjustments. These behaviors reveal psychological state better than P&L statements. Sarah sees herself clicking frantically after her second loss. Classic tilt indicator she missed in real time. Update your if-then rule cards with specific scenarios. If news spike widens, spreads beyond 2 pips, then wait 15 minutes minimum. If I feel urgency to enter, then set 5-minute timer away from screen. If account drops past daily limit, then activate full circuit breaker. Convert each violation into systematic response that removes decision-making from emotional moments. Install the cooldown ladder for graduated responses. After any loss, 5 minutes away from screen minimum. After 2 losses in session, end session immediately. After daily limit hit, activate full 72-hour protocol. Program these into phone alarms that sound regardless of market action. The sniper metaphor reinforces patience over timing. Professionals wait hours for perfect shot conditions, wind, visibility, target positioning. They don't shoot from boredom or schedule pressure. Your trading demands identical patience because perfect setups are worth waiting for, while mediocre setups compound into account damage. You have the protocol, but real markets test your discipline with scenarios designed to trigger old patterns. How do gamblers versus operators handle identical high-stress situations when news whipsaws and late-session FOMO strikes? 4 high-stress scenarios reveal the identity fork in action. These moments separate gamblers from operators not through different market conditions, but through radically different responses to identical pressure. Each scenario is a vote for your future identity, teaching your nervous system what to expect next time stress peaks and logic fades. News whipsaw. CPI release creates 50 pip range in 2 minutes. EUR/USD explodes from 1.0850 to 1.0900, then crashes to 1.0820 within 90 seconds. Spreads widen to 8 pips as liquidity evaporates. Gambler response. Marcus sees the spike and thinks, easy money. He chases the breakout at 1.0895, getting slipped to 1.0902 due to widened spreads. When the reversal hammers his position, he revenge trades the opposite direction because it has to bounce here. 2 trades, $400 gone, emotional system hijacked. Sarah recognizes volatility expansion immediately. Her prescripted rule fires automatically. If spreads widen beyond 3 pips, wait 15 minutes minimum. She closes her platform during chaos, returning only after spreads normalize. When she trades, position size drops to 0.25 R because elevated volatility demands reduced risk. Same market, controlled outcome. Chop day. Market ranges for 6 hours between key levels. Multiple false breakouts trap traders in both directions as volume decreases, and every move feels significant when it's actually noise. Gambler response. Jake forces trades because something has to work. Each false breakout looks like the real one until it reverses. Death by 1,000 cuts, 6 small losses, compounding into significant damage. He breaks session rules, staying longer because he needs to get something back. His identity depends on daily profits, making range days torture. Operator response. Emma recognizes range conditions within the first hour. Her systematic response activates switch to observation mode or microscalp within strict parameters. Position sizes drop to 0.1 R with tight stops at range boundaries. Most likely, she closes the platform and studies structure for tomorrow's potential. Breakout. Range days become education, not frustration. Stop hunt. Perfect setup hits. Stop by 2 pips, then reverses exactly to target. The chart looks like personal mockery. Analysis was correct, but timing punished precision. Gambler response. Tom explodes with rage. The market is rigged against me. He widens, stops retrospectively, convincing himself that next time I'll give it more room. Worse, he takes immediate revenge position because he knows direction is right. His identity takes personal offense at being stopped out on correct analysis. Operator response. Lisa accepts the loss as statistical cost of doing business. She logs the context. Stop hunt during London Open, low volume, news pending. This becomes pattern recognition data, not emotional trauma. She waits patiently for the next qualified setup, understanding that directional accuracy doesn't guarantee profitable timing. Late session FOMO. Account read for the day. Perfect setup appears 10 minutes before predetermined session end. Every instinct screams, just this once, because the setup looks flawless and recovery feels urgent. Gambler response. David breaks his session cap because this one's different. He convinces himself that good setups override time rules. Even if he wins, he's reinforced dangerous precedent. Rules become suggestions subject to emotional override when conditions feel compelling. Operator response. Rachel honors predetermined session end without debate. She screenshots the setup for tomorrow's watch list and closes the platform. Her identity prioritizes systematic discipline over short-term profits. Each scenario demonstrates micro-decisions that compound into macro results. The casino metaphor applies perfectly. The house doesn't change blackjack rules mid-game because of unlucky streaks. They maintain systematic edge through consistent rule application. Regardless of short-term variance, professional operators have pre-scripted responses because emotional brains override logical brains under stress. When cortisol floods your system, you can't think your way to better decisions. You can only execute predetermined protocols. Behavior follows identity. How do you rewire your core identity from reactive gambler to systematic operator so these professional responses become automatic rather than forced? The final transformation isn't tactical, it's surgical. You must perform identity surgery, completely removing gambler programming and installing operator software. This isn't positive thinking. It's belief system reconstruction that rewires neural pathways through deliberate practice. Your survival depends on choosing which identity controls your account: the gambler who destroys capital through emotional reactions, or the operator who builds wealth through systematic discipline, believes in hot and cold streaks as predictive forces, celebrates big wins while mourning losses with equal intensity, creating emotional roller coasters, sees market as opponent to beat through superior analysis, measures success by daily P&L, making every session a referendum on self-worth, trades for excitement, validation, and the dopamine hit of being right, believes in probability and variance as mathematical realities governing outcomes over sample sizes, celebrates disciplined execution regardless of individual results, sees market as teacher, providing feedback about psychological weaknesses, measures success by process adherence percentages, not profit percentages, trades for systematic wealth, building through compound growth. The surgery requires conscious pattern interruption. Every time you catch gambler thinking, consciously choose the operator response. When your mind whispers, "I'm due for a winner," answer, "Variance clusters. My job is risk control." When it screams, "Just one more trade," respond, "Session cap protects the house." When it complains, "I can't end red today," counter with, "Protect expectancy. Tomorrow needs a clear head." This isn't emotion suppression, it's productive channeling. Fear becomes cautious position sizing that keeps you alive during volatile markets. Greed becomes patient setup selection that filters out marginal opportunities. Anger becomes analytical review that strengthens your rule set. Each emotion transforms from obstacle into information. Install 3 daily identity reinforcements that hardwire operator thinking through repetition. 5 minutes before market open, read your rules aloud and visualize perfect execution under pressure. Pre-commit with accountability. Rules over outcomes today. 5 minutes after close, score rule adherence from 0 to 100. Write 1 operator move you maintained and 1 gambler urge you caught and redirected. Ask honestly, did I think and act like an operator this week? Document lessons and adjustments for continuous improvement. The mirror metaphor becomes crucial. Operators look honestly at their reflection, acknowledging strengths and weaknesses without distortion. Gamblers avoid mirrors during losing streaks or create flattering narratives during winning streaks. Use the mirror for accurate feedback, not ego protection. Anchor your transformation with environmental design. Keep weight filters visible on your desk. If, then cards taped to your monitor. Cool down timers programmed in your phone. Operators don't rely on motivation. They rely on architecture that makes good decisions automatic and bad decisions difficult. Replace gambler language with operator language because words train identity. Replace "I hope this works" with "I execute my edge." Replace "I need to make it back" with "I need to protect expectancy." Replace "I knew it" with "I followed my plan." Your new mantra, repeated until it becomes unconscious belief. I am a professional risk manager. My job is executing my protocol and protecting my capital. Profits are byproducts of process. This mantra transforms your relationship with outcomes from personal validation to business metrics. Expect identity friction when you're tired, rushed, or experiencing drawdowns. Old neural grooves will tempt you with familiar patterns. That's when you double down on structure, smaller positions, fewer trades, longer waits, stricter caps. The casino doesn't change blackjack rules during unlucky streaks. Maintain your edge through consistent application regardless of short-term variance. Identity transformation happens gradually through daily repetition. Then, suddenly, when neural pathways reach tipping point. But knowing the transformation process isn't enough. What's the synthesis protocol that locks in this new operating system permanently, ensuring these operator responses become automatic when markets test your discipline with high-stress scenarios designed to trigger old patterns? Professional operators recover through position sizing discipline, not trade selection heroics. While gamblers increase risk to accelerate recovery, operators decrease risk to ensure survival. This counterintuitive approach separates professionals from amateurs when accounts face inevitable drawdowns. Picture two traders after identical 20% losses. Marcus doubles position size to get back faster, while Sarah halves position size to stay alive longer. 12 months later, Marcus has blown his account twice, while Sarah compounds steady gains through systematic discipline. The 1% rule recalibration forms the mathematical foundation of professional recovery. Risk only 1% of current account value per trade, not original balance. If you're down 20%, your position sizes should be 20% smaller. Start with $10,000, lose $2,000. Now risk 1% of $8,000. $80 per trade, not $100. This feels counterintuitive because smaller positions mean slower recovery. But here's the psychological breakthrough. Slower recovery means sustainable recovery. The mathematics prove this approach. Smaller position sizes during drawdowns reduce equity curve volatility, preventing deeper holes that require exponentially larger returns. More importantly, reduced size creates psychological safety net that maintains clear thinking under pressure. When your maximum loss per trade drops from $100 to $50, emotional intensity decreases proportionally. Calmer emotions lead to better decisions. Better decisions lead to consistent execution. Consistent execution leads to positive expectancy over time. The graduated return protocol removes improvisation through systematic, phased re-entry. Week 1 to 2, 0.25 position size maximum, 2 trades per session cap. A+ setups only? This isn't punishment. It's systematic confidence rebuilding under real market conditions. Any rule violation resets the timeline because discipline must be bulletproof before normal sizing resumes. Week 3 to 4, 0.5 position size if perfect adherence maintained during initial phase. Week 5 and beyond. Normal sizing only after 10 consecutive rule-adherent trades regardless of outcomes. Exit criteria focus entirely on process, not profits. You're not trying to get even. You're proving systematic execution functions under live market pressure. This removes recovery pressure and focuses attention on rebuilding the psychological foundation that generates long-term profits. The process scorecard tracks what matters. Adherence percentage, not profit percentage. 90% rule adherence with any outcome beats 60% adherence with lucky profits. Create binary scoring on your desk. Each trade receives summons, 1 for rule adherent execution or 0 for any violation. Position sizing, entry criteria, stop placement, session caps, every rule matters equally. Weekly adherence below 80% extends graduated protocol automatically. The sniper metaphor reinforces this approach. Professionals take fewer, higher probability shots rather than spraying bullets hoping to hit something. Snipers don't increase shot frequency during difficult conditions. They wait longer for perfect setups and execute with absolute precision. Expectancy protection becomes your North Star during recovery. Your edge comes from consistent execution over sample sizes, not individual trade outcomes. Calculate expectancy as E, win sex av win, loss sex x av gloss, sex x av gloss. Focus on maintaining positive expectancy through disciplined execution rather than forcing positive P&L through larger positions. Sarah's system generates 60% winners averaging 1.2 R gains and 40% losers averaging 1 R losses. E a 0.60 in 1.2, 0.40 A 1.0, 0.32 R, E in 60 1.2, 0.40 X 1.0, 0.32 R per trade. Her edge comes from executing this expectancy consistently, not from individual trade outcomes. Make the math tangible with concrete implementation. Start at $5,000, down 20% to $4,000. At 1% risk of current equity, your dollar risk becomes $40, not $50. 10 disciplined trades at 0.25 R with average expectancy of 0.15 R add roughly $6 per trade, $60 total, while rebuilding trust in your process. Contrast that with oversizing to $100 risk. 2 losses cost $200 and spike cortisol, derailing the next 8 decisions. Install practical tools that remove decision-making from emotional moments. Announce your rules to accountability partner. Schedule platform shutdown times. Pre-fill order tickets with reduced size so you cannot fat finger risk. Set timers for waiting periods. Drink water before entries. Journal 1 sentence after each exit. What did my protocol teach me today? The market will test your new discipline with seemingly perfect setups that violate your comeback protocol. That A-plus breakout appearing 30 minutes before your session cap. The obvious reversal when you've already taken 2 trades. The can't miss setup when you're limited to 0.25 R sizing. These moments separate operators from gamblers. Operators honor predetermined rules regardless of opportunity cost. Gamblers make exceptions that compound into account destruction. This is where most traders fail their own recovery. They create perfect protocols, then abandon them when markets offer tempting violations. The casino doesn't change blackjack rules for special hands. Maintain your edge through unwavering consistency. You have the comeback blueprint, but permanent transformation requires one final commitment. What's the choice that separates temporary improvement from lifelong operator identity? When markets test your discipline with scenarios designed to trigger old patterns. Every losing streak writes a story about who you are under pressure. Today you choose the ending. You now possess the complete reset arsenal. The mathematical reality of recovery, the statistical inevitability of streaks, the 72-hour circuit breaker protocol, the implementation scripts, the scenario responses, the identity surgery, and the comeback blueprint. But knowledge without commitment is expensive entertainment. This moment is your identity fork. Everything depends on which path you choose when markets test your discipline with scenarios designed to trigger old patterns. You can memorize every protocol and still blow your account if you don't make the fundamental choice that determines your trading survival. The operator's 4 commandments become your non-negotiable foundation. First, mandatory reset after daily limit or 3 rule violations. No debate, no, just one more trade. Circuit breaker activation protects your capital from catastrophic spiral. Second, 2-minute reset before any revenge impulse. Physical position, breathing pattern, verbal script, systematic intervention before emotional hijacking destroys systematic thinking. Third, weight filters and session caps by default, not exception. A-plus setups only, predetermined session ends, position sizing based on current equity. Fourth, journal the mirror. Variance versus violation. Every single trade. Honest self-assessment separates controllable errors from statistical outcomes. The identity choice crystallizes into stark contrast. Gamblers need luck. Operators create consistency. Gamblers fight the market. Operators flow with probability. Gamblers trade for excitement. Operators trade for freedom. Your losing streak wasn't your failure. It was your graduation from amateur to professional mindset. The market held up a mirror, showing exactly where your psychology breaks under pressure, which rules you abandon when stressed, and which emotions override logic when variance hits. The survival frame removes motivation from the equation because survival remains constant. This isn't about feeling inspired. It's about mathematical reality determining your long-term existence in markets. The market operates as a wealth transfer mechanism from the undisciplined to the disciplined, from the reactive to the systematic, from gamblers to operators. Your choice determines which side of that transfer you occupy permanently. The casino metaphor anchors this. The house maintains systematic edge through consistent rule application, regardless of short-term variance. They don't chase losses with bigger bets or abandon discipline when luck turns negative. The sniper metaphor reinforces patience. Professionals wait for perfect conditions rather than forcing imperfect opportunities. The mirror metaphor demands honest self-assessment without ego protection. Make commitment tangible through concrete actions. Write your 4 commandments on paper. Sign it. Date it. Place it where you place orders so commitment stands between you and impulsive clicks. Tell one person you respect that you'll follow these commandments for 30 trading days. Ask them to call you out if you drift. Visualize the next losing streak hitting 2 weeks from now. See yourself pausing, breathing, reducing size, and logging variance versus violation before touching another trade. Measure what matters daily with process scores out of 100. Treat 85 as minimum passing grade. When you slip, reset immediately. Don't rationalize. When you win, credit discipline, not genius. You're not chasing money anymore. You're building a machine that prints good decisions consistently. If you are committing to the operator reset protocol, drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. And one if-then rule you'll implement this week. Public commitment increases compliance. Subscribe if you want more tactical trading psychology that protects your capital and your sanity. Join the community of traders who've chosen discipline over drama, process over profit chasing. Final question. Next time the market tests you with a losing streak, will you prove you're an operator by resetting systematically or a gambler by chasing desperately? Your account, Momo, and your future self are watching your choice. Identity isn't declared. It's demonstrated through action when pressure peaks and logic fades. Choose now. Start today. Protect the house.